My name is Gillian Russo, and today I'm going to be making some banana pudding. I have been missing Magnolia Bakery's banana pudding just about ever since I've been home from the city. I have many favorite sweet shops in Manhattan, but that's definitely one of them. I remember hearing so much about how famous it was, and the minute I tried it, I was like, oh, that's why. And I found out that it's surprisingly easy to make at home with some sugar, butter, flour, bananas, of course, and a few other things I already had lying around the house. I'm not using their recipe. They actually have that patented somewhere in their own cookbook. But I was inspired by a recipe by another baker named Sarah Crenshaw on All Recipes, to give due credit. But I made some of my own modifications to make it with the things that I had around the house in the way that I like it, and I'm super excited to try it out. So let's get started. The first part is to combine the dry ingredients, which are the sugar, the flour, and the salt. 2/3 of a cup of sugar is what we're using, 1/3 cup of flour, and then just a pinch of salt before we put it on the stove and start adding in the other stuff. So I've got my trusty saucepan here, measuring cup. So first, we have our sugar, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, which I will just be eyeballing here. I mean, not eyeballing, I will be using a measuring cup. All right, into the saucepan we go. Next up is the flour. Like I said, I'll be doing about 1/3 a cup of that. So now we have our basic ingredients. I'm gonna mix those up a little bit. My trusty little whisk. Now that's going to go on the stove on low. So we're going to put the front burner on here. So the next step would then be to add the wet ingredients, which includes the eggs, the milk, the vanilla extract, and then of course the bananas at the end. However, all of my eggs are currently hard-boiled and dyed for Easter. So in lieu of eggs, I'm going to use flaxseed. So usually 1 egg can be substituted by 1 tablespoon of flaxseed to 3 tablespoons of water. So for 3 eggs, that's 9 tablespoons of water and 3 tablespoons of flaxseed that will now be mixing in with the mixture on the stove. But I'm gonna put it in a mixing bowl first. And pour that in to the saucepan. This might change the consistency of the pudding a little bit, but hopefully the consistency for the most part should stay the same. The one thing that to make sure about pudding is that you have to keep stirring it constantly. So anytime I'm not adding in a new ingredient or measuring out a new one, I'm gonna be really trying to stir this up and making sure that everything is blended and mixed well, because that's how you get the smoothest pudding, or at least as smooth as pudding can be with flaxseed. So the next thing to add is going to be the milk. In lieu of normal milk, I will be using soy milk. So we're going to need 2 cups of that. So I have 1 cup here. I'm going to pour in the saucepan. Second cup on the way. And that goes in the saucepan as well. And we stirred this mixture until it thickens. So this could be a while. Okay, so now the pudding's cooled a little bit. It's thickened, as you can see. And now the last part is to mix the pudding with the bananas. So I'm gonna pour the pudding into the mixing bowl with the bananas that we've already got going on here. Ooh, this is heavier than it looks. And now, time to mix. So now we have our pudding. But now comes the fun part. The part where we combine it with the thing that banana pudding goes with the best. Cookies. So most banana pudding recipes usually use vanilla wafers or something of the sort to layer as sort of a trifle kind of dessert. I do not have vanilla wafers, but what I do have, trefoils, which are even better in my opinion. So now I have my bowl. We're going to take out the trefoils, and we're going to line some at the bottom, as though we would with perhaps vanilla wafers or even graham crackers in some cookie of the sort. And just like that, we've made our pudding, banana pudding layered with shortbread cookies. The final step is to put it in the refrigerator and let it sit. It should sit for at least an hour, but ideally it'll sit overnight so that it can congeal and get thick and be ideal for eating. And it should be airtight, so I'm going to put some saran wrap over the bowl, put it in the fridge overnight, and can't wait to see how it turns out tomorrow.